Unlike this afternoon, the speaker went on longer than people had anticipated. But they didn't leave because they were captivated by his words. Some of the support team said, well, it's about time to end this and send them home because they must be getting hungry and the day is closing. He didn't want to do that. He said to his team, you supply them with food. Out of a conversation, they found a small boy who had his snack with him. And they brought him to the speaker and said, this is all we've got. It then happened to be a few dry loaves and a few nibbles of fish. And they said, but what's this amongst the thousands of people who are here? But the speaker accepted that gift. He looked to heaven, blessed it, and then shared it with his support team, who went and shared it with the crowd. And there were about 8,000 listening to him that day. And miraculously, there was still food left over. That is the story which is repeated in every gospel in the New Testament of Jesus feeding thousands of people with 5 loaves and 2 tiddly little fish. And it's a foundational story for the Ferry Project. When it started, the project needed money. And so we were inspired by that scripture to have what we call a loaves and fishes offering. There's not one today. And people would bring, according to their resources, whatever they felt was right, whether it was a small gift or a large gift. And in those days, we were a smaller church than we are now. And on that Sunday, in the loaves and fishes offering, out of the church, £2,500 was given. And that was the seed money which enabled the Ferry Project to expand, begin to expand, and do its work. Now, some people hear that story, and what they say is, well, what really happened is this boy produced his lunch, everybody else felt guilty, so they'd all be hiding their picnic lunch, and they all got it out and shared it around, and so everybody was happy. Well, some people also think like that with the Ferry Project. What it was determination, vision, hard work, grit, the awareness that something needed to be done, and so it was. But if that's all it was, you've missed a miracle. Because the miracle in the gospel, when Jesus fed those 5,000 men and their families, when he fed those people, they were in a desert place with no provision, no access to anything, and he met their needs. That is exactly a parallel for the Ferry Project. With very little resources, with very little experience, with very little understanding of the complex needs of the people who would come to the project, and sometimes facing opposition, people, and with the inspiration of Keith, who had heard that word from God, people rallied round and said, actually, we believe this is possible. And out of that small offering has grown and developed and flourished what we now recognise as the Ferry Project today. You may not share our faith, but the foundation of the Ferry Project was rooted in Christian faith and Christian ethics. And we believe that its foundation and its success and its continuing ability to minister to the needs of so many people is because God is in this project. The miracle of the Ferry Project is that it is here at all. And we're so blessed that the Lord found willing servants who would hear his voice and follow his lead and commit themselves to his will. The young boy could have been satisfied if he'd kept the lunch to himself. He would have been fed, he would have had his stomach filled and gone home a bit happier. But can you imagine the thrill that young lad, and he was a small lad, barley loaves were dry and not very edible, it was nibbles of fish. Can you imagine the thrill of that young boy when he saw what Jesus did with what he gave him? He could have kept it to himself, but his offering satisfied the needs of thousands of people. If that isn't a miracle, I don't know what is. Likewise, people who have given themselves to serve not only God, but this community, are blessed beyond measure in what God is able to do. That's why the rostrum here says the King's Church. As I said, we meet here every Sunday. But we believe in a God who gets involved in life. We believe in a God who is present with us. And I just love the phrase, Hannah, I'm going to pick it up, that, what did you say? You patched up feet and patched up hearts. Have I got it right? It's close. It's close. It's close. You mended feet and you mended hearts. And we believe that God gets involved, not only physically, materially, in providing needs, but actually in restoring people's lives. That's why we call ourselves the King's Church, because we serve him and we're his ambassadors and his agents in this community. So we're thrilled to be part of this celebration of these 25 years. And we anticipate that what Scripture says, actually, there is more to come. The Lord has told us there is more to come.